with the scenario, you've got a spark, something's happening. What do you do next?
Yeah. So if your company fits into a a particular news story, right? So an example of this that I'm just going to throw out there. I'm a veteran of the military services, and I was the public affairs officer for the Texas State Guard. Part of our mission was hurricane preparedness. Well, in that, there was hurricanes on the East Coast. They didn't necessarily there's no hurricanes in Texas, but I knew that the news outlets were going to be reporting on hurricanes. And so what I did was I called the local news outlets, and I kind of pitched them the story of how the Texas State Guard is preparing for hurricanes here in Texas, with that as a tie-in to the overall story of the East Coast hurricanes. So if there is something that's a really popular story or has the ability to go viral, first and foremost, kind of reaching out to media and letting them know how it could fit into a broader, larger story going on. That's part of it. And then tying your company goals into that overall interview, or organization's goals into that interview. We took donations from the community and then would pass those donations along to hurricane victims and things of that nature. And so we wanted people on the site to go, donate to these things. And so we directed people there in the news stories, blog posts, directing people there. So it's almost like you've got to think, okay, once I get people to the site, where do I want them to go? And have content on your site reinforcing the message, right? So if the message is the news is going to come, they're going to bring traffic to the site that's excited about what Texas is doing for Texans, then you have a blog post there that people can then reference to donate, or have that donation button there. So you have as many things going on to convert that traffic once it gets to your site, wherever you want them to go.
So just specifically let's say that there's some hot piece of news, like some startup, maybe they get an acquisition offer or make a major hire or hit some milestone. Do you think that should be taken as an exclusive to a journalist? And what's that balance between saying nobody's picking this up and we want to announce it anyway, versus saying, you know what, we can get some good earned media out of this?
Yeah. So first and foremost, it's knowing what is actually news to reporters. So unless it's a major person moving from like a major company, it's probably not breaking news that you hired somebody. It's good for SEO purposes, and that is when you would want to put out a press release. Press releases are primarily for SEO. Unless there's new data, it's very interesting. A reporter's more than likely not going to publish a story based upon a press release. It's literally just going to be out there for SEO, so people interested in your company can find it very easily. It's going to push it up to the top of those search results.
What have you seen a really cool team from a company or somebody you've worked with that you thought, man, they were really creative and cool with the way that they used, PR or approached it? And, these people that thought outside of the box.
Yeah. I'm going to give an example of one of my employees actually with her sister, right? So her sister's a comedian, and her sister was in a bar doing comedy sketch, and she noticed that there was a door, there was like a mirror and there was a door, there was a mirror on the door. So she opened the door, and it was a little broom closet. Well, the mirror was a two-way mirror.
Oh.
And so people could see you going potty.
Oh my gosh.
And so she shot a video of it and put it up on her on Facebook, and it went viral. And then she of course told her sister about it. Her sister reached out to some media outlets because, she's a PR professional and, from my team. And it ended up getting over, about 2 weeks ago, it was at over 2 million views within like a 2-week period. And she ended up getting dozens of news stories about it, and it spiked this whole huge dialogue, right? And so that's a perfect example of, what Tracy did on my team for her sister's video is she went and she reached out to 15 different media outlets, and those media outlets then wrote a story about the content that was going viral online and kind of made it part of a bigger dialogue. And so it's almost an amplifier. You think of media relations a lot of times as gasoline for the fire. You can have something be kind of, going crazy on viral, and then you add media outlets starting to talk about it, and it pours gasoline on that, and then new offshoots of interest kind of come off from it. So it's a spotlight, it's gasoline, if you will.